All right, at the end of the last video, I was talking about how the numbers are the same and the decimal point moves. Okay, so what happened here is if I look at my originals, I notice 43 has a decimal on the far right? It's after the ones place. And then for my decimal, the decimal moves so that it's to the left of the tens. It moves 1, 2 spots. Okay, 1, 2 spots from the original. So for 72%, the same thing happens. There was a decimal to the right of the 2, and it moved 1, 2 spots so that it was to the left of the 7. Okay. Why is the decimal point moving? Well, this has to do with dividing by 100. Okay. Notice that when you divide by 100, you're moving the decimal point because these groups of 10 are telling you, hey, we need to move where the groups of 10 are located. So we're moving that number of groups of 10. So that decimal place is moving 2 spots. Okay, the key here is that the decimal moves only 2 spots. Okay, it does not ever move more than 2 spots because we're only dividing by 100. Let's try another example problem. Let's do 216%. Okay, 216%. And this is we're gonna do the exact same thing that we've done on the previous ones. We know percent means out of 100. So we take 216 and divide it by 100. And in our calculator, this gives us 2 and 1600ths. Now the difference here is you're gonna notice not everything is to the right of the decimal point. Why did not everything move to the right of the decimal point? You know, in 43% and 72%, it moved to the right of the decimal point, but in 216%, it did not. Okay, the reason here is, again, we're only dividing by 100, which means this decimal point on the far right of 16 only moves 2 spots. Okay, it only moved 2 spots so that it was between the 2 and the 1. So 2 and 1600ths is what your decimal is. Okay, it moved 2 spots. Let's try another one. Let's do 431%. So again, I take 431 and divide it by 100. And in my calculator, I'm going to notice that I get 4 and 31 hundredths. Again, that decimal place does not move so that all of them are to the right of the decimal. What happened is my decimal point moved 1, 2 spots. So it's between the 4 and the 3. Okay. All right, we're going to do one more example, and then I'm going to give you some try-its. Okay. So this last example is a little bit tricky. It's going to be 9%. Okay, 9%. And again, it's going to be a little tricky because it's not the same as the other ones. So 9%, I'm going to do the same steps that I've done before. I'm going to take 9 and divide it by 100 because it means percent out of 100. And this time my calculator gives me a number 0 and 9 hundredths, or 0.09. Okay, this is weird because in 9%, I don't have a 0 there. So what happened? Well, if I look at my percent, there's a decimal to the right of the 9, right? And I still need to move the decimal point 2 spots. It goes 1, 2 spots. In that empty spot to the left of the 9, I have to put a 0, a placeholder 0. Okay? So when you have a single digit that's a percent, you're going to have an extra 0 in there. All right. You try this one, 42.5%. See if you can do it. And then we'll go over it in class.